Hey guys, and welcome back. Welcome to our final part 2 and final of our character development series. Sit back and enjoy. And here is our concept of Zagru. Now Zagru, he is the orc chief. He is like the one and only chief, and in this storyline he's not self-proclaimed. He actually is the main orc chief. So in future storyline he's going to be challenged on that basis, but he is like the guy. He's bigger than all the other orcs. He's stronger than all the other orcs, all the other warriors, even his commanders, his generals, and his two cousins, Orengar, who we have here, and his brother Rangar, who you kind of have a concept of him here. These two brothers serve Zagru in commander capacity. Orengar is kind of like the goody-goody two-shoe. He does everything right. He always gets all the accolades. When Rangar, even if he does something tremendous or great, it's kind of like, hey, cool, thanks for showing up, and all right, good job, I guess. And he's always kind of always treated as the trash, the secondary, and and never seems to get the breaks, But down the road, that's all going to change. So as the orcs come out and meet in battle, there's this huge battle scene where Rangar is gored in the chest cavity by Bulfor, but in the process, when he's lifted up in the air, Zagru is able to run a sword through the back of Bulfor's neck, as you can see in this picture here. So, of course, all the other orcs see this happen, and they all surround him and grab him and take him back. And the doctor there can't do crap to save Zagru, so Rangar actually speaks up and talks about a medicine man out on the outskirts of their town, of their city of Hanwellen, of this awesome healer, which is our guy Ugru. And here is a picture of Ugru, and here's a nice cool close-up of Ugru. And yes, I know the art is fantastic, isn't it? So Ugru basically has been messing with some magic and has created this staff, unbeknownst to anybody, and it consists of the skin and skull of an orc. And so, of course, here's the staff, tongue hanging out and everything. So he thinks he's created this cool healing magic. In reality, he's actually been pulling from Oguna's magic, not realizing this, and has created a staff of healing. And the more he uses it, the more he starts to kind of stir the dead dark priests. Dark priests pretty much wake up at this point, and the only way they can really communicate with Ugru is through dreams and whispering in his sleep and visions and so on and so forth. So he doesn't really get who they are and what's going on. He just thinks, hey, I'm the crap man. I got this, and I've created this cool magic. Ends up saving Zagru, and Zagru makes Ugru his main second guy. So and then in the process, he starts messing with this magic a little bit more, creating other staffs, and he's given these acolytes, these warriors that serve him, and Rangar kind of jumps in there because he's like, well, I might as well try to be a big part of this somehow. So, we eventually, with experiments in magic, Ugru creates these Brism High, Sons of the Darkness, and these are orcs that are infused with other races. So they take on the attributes of whatever race they're infused with the staff. So the staff would be the skull of an undead soldier with its undead skin crunchy wrapped around, or some fresh stuff wrapped around, and the essence of the undead is infused into an orc acolyte, and they're turned into these monsters with undead characteristics and things like, hey, they're resistant to magic, magic doesn't hurt them, and like the old George Romero zombies, these things got to be killed. You have to damage the brain. You have to, I'd say, shoot them in the head, but there's no guns, so to shoot them in the head with an arrow or something. But these guys are massive at this point because they're just like raging, And they're probably out of all the undead or out of all the Burzum High elites that we have and that are coming down the pipe are probably the most formidable. So you're going to see other kinds of Burzum High and other capacities. So that's where they come from. So while all this is going on, there's a lot of big split ups here, and then Zagru is like, hey, no, why, what's going on with this stuff? And starts chasing down Ugru, and Ugru's like, okay, gotta go. So he grabs his guys and heads out. And in the interim, you know, we see some fishermen. Oh, I didn't put the pictures of those guys down. All right, but they're humans, and they serve the Queen of Forantain, Athera. Here she is. Yeah, she's covered up, and there's a whole storyline behind that here. I'll get to in a second. And these guys end up getting captured by the orcs of Ugru in a fishing village in this bar, and eventually they wake up in a camp, you know, as the next guinea pigs to be infused. When they see this female dark elf trying to get out of her cage. Of course, she busts out, and they talk her into freeing them, and she becomes part of their group, and that is our girl Thala. And she is the dark elf who stole the amulet of rejuvenation from her fellow dark elves. Dark elves are high elves, the first race. I backtrack a little bit. These guys here, they were the very first race of Mindrin. This is why the first person that Alistar becomes friends with was an elf. And the elves, eventually they have elves that form a cult following, a group, and they start meeting in these caves and not really understanding that caves have a residue of Oguna's magic flowing through them. It starts to taint these elves, and eventually a whole race of dark elves is born as a result of that. And the dark elves basically prefer the dark now in the caves and stuff like that, and they have all this cool magic, and their skin turns gray, and their eyes start turning this Oguna green, so just easier to say that. And so does this amulet of rejuvenation. It kind of gives them power to rejuvenate and heal very quickly. Again, same power that healed Zagru with the staff. But this power becomes more than they understand, and they end up really serving Oguna through Lethalis, which, you know, as we'll get into that story way later. So that's how the Dark Elves are formed. And those guys, those marauders, eventually get out, they get down and start following Ugru. Ugru escapes and heads off to a place called Roturn. In the process, at this point in the storyline, Oguna has kind of awakened a little bit. Very weak, but he's now kind of alert as to what the heck's going on. And he helps aid Ugru get away, unbeknownst to him. And the marauders head down to Forantain, where they alert Queen Athera. And here we have another picture. This is Athera. Of course, yes, she's blocked out. She wears this dress in her court, especially during disputes when men and everybody are just arguing, and she wears a dress of slightly see-through. It's a see-through and a little bit of armor adornment, and she can kind of comes into her throne room and sits. And she's beautiful. She's a half-elf, and she's a strong woman, a monster in battle, and is a very commanding presence and knows how to control her court. So when she comes in there, she knows if she's dressed like that, everybody's going to stop and stare, and the whole room's going to fall quiet. She is also very good friends with Alistar, and Alistar and she have a fragment of Inawa's hand, which is a part of the storyline. It's just part of Oguna destroying Inawa as his hand is shattered into 5 parts, and those fingers of the Inawa go throughout Mindrin, and there's kind of a big chase to find these fragments. And Queen Athera has one of these in a tower, and she has these elf paladins who are just badass, going there and destroying pretty much anyone who comes close to these things. So that's her. She is going to be a main part of our storyline. You will see her in some cards coming up in the game. and same with our Marauders. We'll get familiar with them. And we have dwarves in that group, and like the dwarves here, they're pretty much minors, not like under 21. You guys, come on, you know what that is, right? So the dwarves are the only ones that can really do anything with. Here's a couple pictures of them real quick. So here's a profile, and here is a face on. These guys are the only ones that really work with metal in most of Mindrin. They're superb at metal. Steel and iron are actually pretty rare in this planet. So I mean, it's there, but everyone tends to use these iron yarwood weapons and armor. But there's steel armor and iron and stuff like that. It's out there. It's just a little more expensive. Iron and steel are kind of like gold. The Gremlins are basically goblins. These are our guys. So these guys they're crabby little goblins that, you know, are hired by whoever and are the engineers of the group. I mean, they create a lot of the weapons and stuff like that for whoever the highest bidder is. And they have the boss, who is the Grand Tinkerer. This guy, he's their main guy. You know, he holds the cog staff. Sorry, the Gremlish hate the gnomes, and I have no pictures of gnomes. I think I've only drawn one. We're gonna get into them like way later. Then we have the Yangul warriors. These are the dragon drones, and there's two kinds. There's the ground ones with the long tails. They're the ones that tend to the eggs in the nest of the dragons. The warriors with the wings here, these guys, they are kind of they patrol the skies and look on the ground and make sure that there's nothing coming in, other dragons or anybody else trying to snatch their eggs. And dragons, you know, they all love treasure, so of course they gotta have that. So they help protect the coven. And there's different covens that float around with different dragons that are ruling the roost, kind of, so to speak. And they all have their dragon drones, the Yangul warrior. This guy here, our flying guy, I'll show him one more time, he has a dragon scale axe. So that's the majority of what I want to show you today. Hey guys, if you liked today, and if you could give me a big thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We really would love those subscriptions to help us grow, to help us bring you better content. Hit that notification bell so that we can give you up-to-date content and information as to what's going on. And follow us on social media. Again, we're at Realms of Mindrin and also at Rom Card Game on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And with that said, guys, I'll talk to you guys later, and I love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Light my sword on fire.